Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, and off we go. That was brisk acceleration, yeah. And then over bumps, the suspension is very soft. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the 2024 Hyundai Tucson Facelift. This is the key of the vehicle, an updated key with the Hyundai logo right here. This is to lock the car, this is to unlock the car, and there are two dummy buttons because this is not the top end variant. A lot of features are actually missing on this car, yet it is very loaded now because they have given it a significant update to the interior obviously. Anyways, coming to the car, not much has changed on the exterior front, but if you notice closely, yes, they have removed one DRL from here. So the current model in India has 4 DRLs, this one has only 3. They've actually refined the whole grille now. Yeah, it's a new grille right here. Black finish for the Hyundai logo, and the indicator actually DRL shuts and the indicator starts working when you activate the indicator. Slight revision to the lights as well, low beam, high beam, and this is very much functional. This air curtain is actually functional right here. They've revised the bumper a bit. The skid plate is slightly wider, and on the end line I think the color is different. This is the radar for ADAS. Obviously you get front parking sensors, and straight away let me actually open the engine bay, and my goodness, it is actually quite heavy. It says hybrid because this is a plug-in hybrid, and you can see orange high voltage cabling. That is the insulation which has been given here, and washer fluid goes in right there. Yeah, washer fluid goes in right there. This is actually quite heavy. The design isn't changed much, but definitely looks refreshing because they've made some changes to the design of the LEDs, but one of them is gone. Now that is actually the towing hook of the vehicle, and this one is actually the short wheelbase. Yeah, they have a short wheelbase as well as a long wheelbase version of the Tucson, but in certain markets like UK, Europe, Middle East as well as Mexico, they end up selling the short wheelbase version of the Tucson. In India we get the long wheelbase, which is like 75 mm longer. Meanwhile these are 17 inches. You also get 18 and 19 inches. Tire size 215 65 17s. Alloy wheel design is kind of boring. I don't like it much. From the side, not much has changed honestly. It looks awfully similar, lots of cuts and creases. So very aggressive a design in that regard. And this is where the charging happens because this is a plug-in hybrid, so the charging port is placed right here. And on the other side obviously you get the place to put fuel, which I have shut right now because the car is on, right? Anyways, you have to open it from the inside. The rear design is similar to before. Hyundai logo here, hidden rear wiper washer, high mounted stop lamp with the roof spoiler. That is a shark fin antenna. Says Tucson plug-in because it's the plug-in, otherwise it says hybrid for the hybrid model. They've actually revised the rear bumper, and you get visible exhaust which is similar to the Creta Turbo, this generation of the Creta, which was launched in 2020 with the facelift. They actually removed all this, and this is actually a bulb. Yeah, the rear fog light is a bulb. They've made changes here as well, so slight changes to the bumper, but more or less the car remains very similar to the previous model. Anyways, let's open the boot. It's a power tailgate. The boot is decent sized. It does not get a spare wheel, at least not in this particular country. So here you get the tire mobility kit, and then you have to pull something from here in case the fuel flap is not opening. There's a light here. There's a 12-volt charging socket which is 180 watt, and I think there is a hook here so that you can carry your Subzi as well. You can just pull this to recline the seat, which is 40-20-40 split, which is definitely a good thing. And another hook there, speaker placement right here, and it's a power tailgate. So if I press this button, there it goes down. It's a bit slow, but then it gets the job done. Stepping inside, I realize space here isn't as good as the India model because obviously the, oh my god, why is this stuck? I have to press some button or what? Yeah, it seems so. I need to press some button to put this back into place. Yeah, I have to pull this and then only it comes out, otherwise it will not move. Okay, this is completely upright and I need to recline it further, so I'm just going to push it there, and there it is. These are fabric seats. In India we obviously get leather seats. Isofix child seat mount. Center passenger gets a head. You get a center armrest as well with twin cup holders, and door pockets are also big enough. You get heated seats at the rear only in this market, and I'm just going to remove some of the plastics because this is a brand new car. You obviously get a sun blind at the rear, and I'm a bit messy in operating it. You know, I'm not messy. It is, no, I mean, it was not being done properly, so I had to just make sure it was done nicely. Space at the rear is okay, but the longer wheelbase version obviously has better space. And if you notice here, under thigh support is poor. You get 2 USB-C charging sockets. You get a magazine holder, but there is no sunroof in this car because a higher variant actually gets a sunroof. Light placement in the center here. Center passenger gets a proper seat belt as well. Meanwhile, the dashboard has been completely revised. Yeah, that's an all new dashboard, which is a bit extreme for a facelift. However, Hyundai UK actually calls this the 5th generation of the Tucson, which is not the case. Meanwhile, you get height adjustable seat belts. This is actually Hyundai's top selling car in the UK. In fact, not just in the UK, Hyundai's top selling car in the world. Yes, this is Hyundai's top selling car in the world. In fact, The Tucson is been the top selling compact SUV in Europe. They call it a compact SUV. In India we call Venue the compact SUV, by the way. And this has been the top selling car in the UK in 2022. So yes, this is a very popular car and very important for Hyundai. That's why they started manufacturing it in the USA from 2021 for the 4th generation model. That's the reason people in Korea, the labor union, is not happy at all. Anyways, that is the camera, which is obviously for the lane keep assist and all. It has got level 2 ADAS, lot of crazy features. Now it has tinted rear windows because here you can do that, not so much in India. Seats at the front, missing out on leather, it's a bit meh. Meanwhile, you get electric adjust both for the driver as well as the co-passenger. A lot of bits have actually come out from the Santa Fe as well as the Ioniq 5. Door pockets are big sized here at the front. Certain changes have been done, I think, here as well to the switch gear, and this is to adjust the outside rear view mirrors. But the big change is that it's running a new electric architecture for the whole infotainment system. It gets this new gear lever which actually comes from the Ioniq 5. It is shift by wire, which is a bit cumbersome to operate. It's not what it is you're thinking. Anyways, you get a proper dead pedal here, some buttons here. This is electric parking brake. This is to open the fuel lid. It opens, yeah, it opens. It says wait until fuel lid opens, so it does give you information on the multi information screen. This is for traction control, headlight leveler, and this is to open the powered tailgate. Meanwhile, if you notice, this complete panel has been changed. Firstly, they have given us some storage here, which is such a good thing. The glove box is decent sized, and I'm just going to turn off the indicator right now. You get knurled finishing in India on this particular lever. Yeah, the stocks have knurled finishing, which is not the case here. And the steering wheel seems to have come from Genesis. Meanwhile, you've got 4 dots here, which is actually Morse code for H for Hyundai. Steering is fantastic to hold. You obviously get paddle shifters as well. These are the controls for the audio system and for the voice command as well as for the audio and phone calls too. This is actually to operate this particular screen, which is now bigger. The screen size has increased from 10.25 inch to 12.3 inch on both the sides, and it's a curved panoramic screen, which is fantastic, similar to what Mercedes-Benz has been doing. So yeah, everyone is copying, but even in the Creta the layout is similar, but the screens are smaller at 10.25 inch. Now here you get a lot of information, so you can browse through a ton of stuff. Yeah, it's telling you the range, what is the current trip and all that, similar to what you get in the Indian model as well. Engine temperature, tire pressure monitor, drive power distribution, because this is obviously all-wheel drive, and it will also show you when it's charging the battery. So all this you get, and you obviously get a tire pressure monitor, a compass and all those things, and ADAS functions have been given here too, which is kind of nice. And obviously you can change the cluster mode, so there are multiple modes for the cluster. It says fuel lid is open right now because I've opened it, Dodo, and I like the graphics here. It's quite nice, but it does not get the blind view monitor which we get in India, so that's something which is amiss. Buttons are actually easy to use, and the good thing is Hyundai has gone back to physical buttons. So these buttons are back, the physical buttons are back, including for the air conditioning here as well as for the volume control and the audio system. This is something which they have done based on customer feedback, because they realize that people want physical buttons. And you get heated steering, you also get heated seats, but the problem is that the steering is on the left side, meanwhile the steering is on the right side. So I think that is because more of the units are sold in the left hand drive market. But this is very interesting here. Hyundai always does something very unique and nice. Basically USB-C charging socket, and you can decide if you want fast charging or you want to control this, or you want to connect this to Apple CarPlay wired. There's another USB-C charging socket, and if you push this, there comes the 12-volt charging socket, which is very nicely done. And finally, Hyundai started to offer wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity, which is there in this car because of the new infotainment system and the new electric architecture for the whole infotainment. Now, good thing is that there's so much space here. Firstly, when you're driving now, your knee will not touch here because there's this gap, obviously, and there's a lot of storage space. Like, look at the storage space, which is very much like the Ioniq, and there is a charger here, wireless one, which also shows you the status of the charging, and there are multiple buttons here. Now, the good thing about these buttons is that they are like proper physical buttons, easy to use. So this is for parking sensors, this is for parking camera, downhill assist, EV or HEV mode. So you can go to hybrid and electric modes from here, auto hold function, and this is for the drive modes, and then you can decide if you want to alter the drive or the terrain modes, which is again fantastic. Engine start button is here. You notice the AC vents are slightly different, and it gets Krell sound system. So we're just going to shut the door right now. Okay, there are horses right here around, but this car has the most horses of any car around here, which is such a good thing. I'm betting it has. Anyways, the steering is actually very different and weird. We'll come to that when we're driving. Obviously, steering is obviously adjustable both for reach as well as rake, and you can stick anything here. So that's magnet. and you get an auto dimming mirror right here. You obviously get a mirror as well as a light, but you have to activate the light separately. Meanwhile, this also extends, which is a good thing, and it's the same case on this side as well, but there is no handle to hold on to on the driver's side, which is like usually the case. You get twin cup holders and you get some storage space right below the front center armrest too. Now I have to admit, the quality of the cabin is phenomenal. All the materials inside are just amazing and it's very well put together. I definitely feel the quality is slightly better when compared to the India model, even though the India model is CKD. You get tweeters here on the A pillar, which brings me to this particular screen, which is very slick to use. Yeah, it is super slick to use. It has got a lot of information. You can see sports updates, yeah, baseball and all those things, even golf, that is. And then I can easily come back to the home function from here. You can get information on the vehicle's hybrid powertrain, what is the charge of the battery and battery status and all those things. So you can obviously get too much information, which is definitely an information overload, but people who drive electric cars obviously have a lot of time on their hands. And then you have calendar, you can get into settings, there's voice memo. You can go to the, okay, there's blue link. Obviously the cluster modes can be changed from here. There's a welcome sound. You want a tachometer to be displayed? No, I want it to be displayed in eco mode as well. Please display it for me in eco. There is a tachometer. I can turn on and off all these things, which is really funky. It's just like hell bent on telling me that the fuel lid is open and I should just close it right away. Maps are also fantastic here, like very slick to use. And why is it right now dimming it? I thought it's dimming it because it detects it is night, but no, it's dimming it because I think they was just giving me some notification on the top. Very advanced screen, phenomenal, and the whole point of getting wireless connectivity is really making me happy. It has a valet mode, and then you know what they've done? They made the whole system slicker. They made the graphics sharper now, and obviously it is faster when compared to before. Let's get into vehicle. Okay, I get into lights. There's so many things to tinker with. It's crazy. So there are multiple colors. You can see there's so many colors, and then I can choose from 64 colors. So ambient lighting is very vast in this car, which is something you would expect. And I'm going to quickly turn on the camera. This car does not get a 360-degree parking camera. So it gets 360-degree parking sensors, but no 360-degree parking camera. But obviously in India, we'll get a 360-degree parking camera because that's something you would expect at that price point for sure. So the dashboard really impresses, but this car's engine impresses even more. I'll tell you why. Let's start driving right away. All right. Oh, nice song and nice effects. It says check rear for passengers or belongings. Anyways, we'll turn on the car. Nice sound comes in right there, and straight away I'm actually going to come into sport mode, and obviously the cluster mode changes. Air conditioning off, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, hazard lights off, and revving the motor. Rev still oh my god, 5000 rpm, but it's not moving because we are in neutral. That's why revving till there. Otherwise it doesn't rev at all because it starts on electric mode and off we go. Brisk acceleration, like really very brisk acceleration, and now it's making sound because obviously it has got a ton of ADAS functions in this car, which is actually telling me that we are exceeding the particular speed limit because it has got traffic sign recognition and all that. Very advanced ADAS system because it's level 2, and unfortunately when I give an indicator on the left, it does not show me the blind view monitor. So that's a feature which we get in India but we don't get here. Yeah, but then there are a lot of features we get here which we don't get in India. Anyways, this car has also got a weird feature called driver alertness something monitor. What it does is quite unique actually, because there are infrared sensors somewhere here which monitor the driver, and if the driver becomes unresponsive now, it will activate the cruise control system, which is Smart and Go adaptive cruise control system, and then as soon as it activates it, it will halt the car, turn on the hazard lights, and also activate the electric parking brake. So that feature is also there in this car, and acceleration is super duper smooth because obviously this car, I'm feeling very cold somehow even though I've turned off the air conditioning. So this car is actually, no, air conditioning is off or not. So that's the problem with such panels. Yeah? You don't realize if air conditioning is off or not, although they have given physical dials. More physical stuff in the car would be a good thing. So this car is powered by a 1.6 liter turbocharged petrol engine, which is a plug-in hybrid motor. This engine, I mean the overall output happens to be 253 PS of power and 304 Newton meters of torque. Meanwhile, the electric motor alone, which is a 13.8 kilowatt hour battery pack in this car, so the electric motor is producing 91 PS of power, which is around 7 horsepower more when compared to before, and that is because they have made tweaks to the electric motor to make it more powerful, and it also produces 304 Newton meters of torque. So both the electric motor as well as the internal combustion engine are making 304 Newton meters of torque, I think. whatever, doesn't matter, because the performance is actually very impressive here. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour takes just 7.9 seconds, which is quick enough. Meanwhile, the top speed is 185 kilometers per hour. Obviously, electric cars or cars are having an electric motor somewhere or the other don't have such a high top speed. That's something which is a given. In terms of high speed stability, it's decent. The suspension is on the softer side. Yeah, the suspension is quite soft here, because of which there is this bounciness at higher speeds, but not on such good roads. When you get onto bad roads, then only you feel the bounciness. In fact, this car also feels too soft at lower speeds. So at lower speeds, you might feel a bit of the bumps because there's some amount of movement here and there, but overall ride quality is very good. The focus is definitely on ride comfort here, not on the handling characteristics. And in terms of ride comfort, this car is absolutely phenomenal. In terms of engines, this car has a ton of them. Before that, you can see the rear cross traffic alert and a blind spot alert and all those things. So ADAS definitely works very well. It's not intrusive. It's very smoothly done. Like I was telling you about the powertrains, there's so many now, I don't know how it does not cause confusion, because the base engine is actually the 2.5 GDI in the US market, which is decently powerful, but then it is the electrified versions which are more popular because of better efficiency, and then you don't have to pay tax. There's some tax concession, then you don't have to pay when you go through low emission zones or ultra low emission zones, especially in countries like the UK where we are right now. The Indian model obviously uses a 2-litre NA petrol engine, which was also there in the Alcazar, but was replaced by a 1.5-litre turbocharged petrol engine, which produces 160 horsepower and 253 Newton meters of torque. And I expect something similar to happen with the Tucson as well. The 2-litre NA petrol to be replaced by the 1.5-litre turbo petrol engine, because that's been manufactured in India and makes more sense to replace it, right? So that is likely to happen. Meanwhile, the diesel is obviously amazing. It's a 2-litre diesel which produces, I think, 184, 185 horsepower and 460 Newton meters of torque. 416, not 460. That diesel engine gets the option of 4-wheel drive. Meanwhile, the hybrid and the plug-in hybrid get 4-wheel drive as standard in the US market, but other places I think it's optional, which is known as Hyundai's H-Track, Hyundai Traction System, whatever. And in terms of drive modes, there are multiple drive modes. I put it into eco mode right now, and there is obviously the sport mode, which obviously feels better in terms of the performance it offers you. However, they also have something known as a baby mode. What exactly is a baby mode here? So what the car's engine will do is it will make the acceleration very linear. So when you accelerate, it will not push you back into the seat, which makes it more comfortable for babies and pets if they are in the car. So Hyundai is thinking really out of the box here, giving us features which we never asked for, but yes, they are there in this car. Quite weird to have a baby mode. Anyways, babies will enjoy a hard acceleration. You get into the throttle like this. Oh my god, the engine actually is quite vocal, higher end of the rev range, but the thing is that the suspension is very silent and very smooth. But because the car can work on electric only mode, now you can hear a bit of the road noise, bit of the wind noise, so that can be heard, but for the most part refinement levels are phenomenal. But I was telling you what all engines are available, I keep getting distracted. So in India we have the 2-litre petrol, 2-litre diesel. Petrol is NA, diesel is obviously turbocharged. Meanwhile, we have the 2.5-litre GDI in the US, which is the base engine, but elsewhere the base engine is actually the 1.5-litre turbo. There's the 1.6-litre turbo, 1.6-litre turbo without any electric assist. Then there's the 1.6-litre turbo with the hybrid, which actually has a 1.49 kilowatt hour battery pack and has an electric, I don't know the electric only range there, but here electric only range is 69 kilometers. I like that number for sure. And that goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in around 8.5 seconds, has the same top speed of 185 kilometers per hour. That's the hybrid. Then comes the plug-in hybrid, and then they have a 2-liter mild hybrid, and beyond that they also have I'm losing count of the engines, but I can tell you there are a lot of gearbox options. So this is a 6-speed automatic gearbox. It's a torque converter unit. They also have a 6-speed manual, they have a 6-speed IMT, they have a 6-speed DCT, they have a 7-speed DCT, they have a 8-speed automatic. Insane number of engines in this car. That's a message which is coming for someone who's sitting behind and trying to monitor the camera for me today. Anyways, we have paddle shifters. There is regen in this car, so you can alter the regen for stronger braking, and obviously because it is electrified, regen puts back energy into the battery. But you have to really plug this car in to get the best out of it, because if I go on to EV only mode, it says exit sport mode to switch to electric mode. So I will come into the eco mode, and then I will try to get into this thing. It says maintaining hybrid mode because of the low battery, and usually the battery is always low because I end up drinking it very fast. Now, because this is a hybrid car, a plug-in hybrid, initial acceleration is very good. There is no lag as such, because obviously the electric motor, or what am I saying? Electric motor gives instant acceleration because of instant torque rush, and that's the reason this car is very smooth in terms of acceleration, amazing in terms of NVH. But it is just too complex a car to manage inventory with, because the number of variants which Hyundai has of the Tucson globally is equivalent to the number of variants Tata has of the Nexon in India. Yeah, there's just way too many engine options, too many gearboxes, too many variants, just so complex, but it's completely worth the effort, because at the end of the day, you should remember that Hyundai's top selling car in the world is the Tucson. And the top selling car in the UK a couple of years back, and also in Europe, was actually the Tucson. Yeah, that's right. The Tucson has been a hot seller for the brand. In fact, such is the hot selling of this car that Hyundai actually decided to manufacture the Tucson in the United States of America, along with I think Santa Fe, Sonata, Elantra, and this is obviously the Elantra SUV, because this is based on the Santa Fe's platform, a shortened version of the Santa Fe's platform. They call the platform as the N3. It also shares the same platform with the Kia Sportage. And okay, let's go. Come on, we are in the wrong mode. And then you can hear the motor becoming a bit vocal. Now in sport mode is where the fun lies, because the acceleration is actually quite impressive. Yeah, I really like the way this car goes with the level of smoothness it has to offer. In terms of fuel efficiency, it will be just amazing. But the unfortunate part is that plug-in hybrid or hybrid will not be brought to India, which is sad, considering you can get a price benefit. Right now in UP and certain other states, this benefit is going to keep coming, of giving big fat benefits if your car is electric assisted, like a strong hybrid or something of that sort. But Hyundai is not planning to launch it, which is kind of unfortunate. And the global models fit finish levels are just amazing. It feels super duper amazing in terms of quality, very smooth to drive. Okay, it's not the best handler, ride is good, it's comfortable, engines are like amazing here. Hyundai is pushing the boundaries in terms of powertrains, offering us like really good powertrains, which also brings me to the fact that this being the 4th generation model is actually being called the 5th generation model in the UK. Yeah, Hyundai UK's brochure actually calls it the 5th generation model, which is kind of wrong, because this is the facelift of the 4th generation model. So the 4th generation model was first launched in 2020, but in India we obviously got it 2 years late in August 2022. But in Korea, Hyundai went ahead and brought in the facelift in 2023 November-ish, and in Europe earlier this year the sales started. Obviously in Europe also you get the short wheelbase version. So short wheelbase version is being offered in a lot of countries, because people really don't care much about space at the rear. If they want rear seat space, they will probably opt for the Santa Fe or the Palisade, and none of these models are actually available in India. And Hyundai actually names all its cars behind American cities, because Americanization is happening in Korea as well. So as I see it, once this car comes to India, the price will definitely increase, say around 47-48 lakh rupees on road Mumbai. Currently I think it starts at around 34-35 lakhs, goes all the way till 44 lakhs on road Mumbai, because of which there is no room for the Santa Fe only, because if the Santa Fe is launched, it will be close to Fortuner levels, and anything near the Fortuner's price just cannot sell in the Indian market, which is the unfortunate scenario. That said, I love the fact that even though this is a facelift, Hyundai has gone ahead and made changes which you usually see with a new generation model itself. So yeah, comprehensively updated this car, specifically the interior, and then finally getting wireless Apple CarPlay is something I have been waiting since such a long time now, that I was thinking to go to China and buying a device and selling it to all of you to be able to connect Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wirelessly, because using a wire all the time is so cumbersome. Tell me about it. This car weighs 1940 kgs, so yes, it is on the heavier side because of the weight of the battery. Meanwhile, the base variant actually weighs 1618 kgs, so 200-300 kgs added due to the weight of the battery alone, which actually adds a lot of benefit in terms of performance as well as efficiency. Meanwhile, Hyundai offers 5 years unlimited kilometer warranty for this car in a lot of countries like the UK, for instance, because of which people close their eyes and buy Hyundai cars, because the warranty is just splendid, and I think it can be extended all the way to 10-year warranty as well. Now here's a fun thing, this car actually has a 54-litre fuel tank, the non-hybrid version. The hybrid version actually has a 52-litre tank, and then this plug-in hybrid has a 42-litre tank. So the tank size keeps shrinking as and when they start increasing the electrification of the vehicle, because the range is added due to electrification as well. The Tucson actually got 5-star rating from Euro NCAP because it's such a popular model for Hyundai. Now there are absolutely no compromises when it comes to safety of this vehicle. Now the first generation, which was launched in 2004, was obviously launched in India. It became quite popular because the first generation Tucson was the only Tucson which could fit a full proper gun in the back. So a lot of politicians and goons loved the car. In fact, if you had one now, chances of it getting stolen were very, very, very high. Then they got us the second generation model. In fact, the second generation model was renamed globally to the iX35 in certain markets, not every market. Then Hyundai realized with the third generation model, it's kind of pointless to name it iX, YX. So they brought back the Tucson name everywhere. Now with the third generation model, they decided to skip. No, they got the third generation to India. They skipped the second generation model, and then obviously we've got the fourth generation as well. So the Tucson has largely been on sale all the time in the Indian market, which is a fantastic thing. Goes to show that it's such a popular car that Hyundai is confident that it will sell no matter which country they try to sell it in, which is good. And let me just accelerate around the corners. Yeah, you can feel the roll, you can feel a bit of understeer as well. The front seems to be washing out. So not an enthusiastic car to drive, even though they have an N-line version of this car. Yes, there's an N-line version of the Tucson as well, which has like different type of seats which are more sporty, metal pedals, slight cosmetic revisions, and obviously N-line wheels too. So those are certain changes which make the Tucson even more attractive. But Hyundai surprisingly not launched the N-line version in India. It's quite baffling, because why not to bring it here? Anyways, let's just change it. Let me show you when the battery is charging, how it works. Okay, I'm getting information about the navigation here, which is actually a good thing. Let's change this. It gets a bit confusing at times, but I have to admit this finishing here is just phenomenal. It is so smooth and so high end as well. So it's showing you power distribution because 4-wheel drive obviously, and not that it's capable off-road. There you can see the whole hybrid system working. So that's it, guys. This is my video of the Hyundai Tucson. I think this car is fantastic. I just hope they bring us better engines to India, because the 2-liter petrol engine isn't that great. The diesel is obviously fantastic, but obviously we don't get any manual anymore. We only get automatic transmission options. Manual is obviously more fun, but it is the plug-in hybrid which is efficient, performance oriented, and for a car of this kind, which is about efficiency, ease of driving, comfort, definitely we should be getting the plug-in hybrid. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, that's a like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye.